Breaking Bridget. Pennsylvania.
Oh, no.
All your
saved
jokes.
these for prosperity.
Posterity.
Prosperity, Maggie.
Prosperity. I meant what I said, Maggie. We're going to be rich.
These are going to be worth something someday.
This is going to be worth $1 million.
Because more so because
Look.
you ripped it in a fit of rage.
Now I
Oh.
We're auctioning this for $1 million. We need to get a rocket so we can get off of this rock.
Leave your bids in the comments.
Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturns Bill Cosby's conviction for sexual assault, allowing him to be released.
This was a tough day for women.
Yeah.
Bill Cosby getting free, which no one really saw coming except for people who were paying attention to the case many years ago and knew that it was built on shoddy material and that this was probably baked into the cake. This is what happens when you don't follow the letter of the law. What bothers me about this, and I wrote a whole piece on Newsweek, which you can read, and it's much more articulate than I'm going to be right now. But essentially, as somebody who experienced a situation that was almost a mirror image of what Bill Cosby's victims experienced, that initial news felt like a slap in the face because something about him getting prosecuted felt like if you were somebody who experienced something like that and never really got justice, it was like justice for all of us. There was that feeling of like maybe things are changing and maybe him going to jail, it's like a symbolic justice. And then he got out. And I read about the details of it, and a lot of people use this, and this is another part of the thing that breaks me. They use it and say, oh, this is a system. The system failed. The system isn't working, and we should just get rid of the Constitution. You can thank the Constitution for this. No, due process is important. One of the things that bothered me about the Me Too movement is that people are throwing the due process out, and they're subverting it with vigilante justice, using the press, making accusations of sexual assault online, destroying reputations and lives. So I didn't like that unsettling feeling that there is this sense of kind of a witch hunt that is occurring. Granted, some of those men deserve to go down. I still believe everybody deserves their right to be innocent until proven guilty. When you read the details of this case, it basically comes down to prosecutorial misconduct. And in 2005, they made a deal with Cosby in order for him to testify so that they said, we can't probably prosecute him in criminal, clearing the way for a civil case. They allowed him to testify so that this woman could maybe get some money in a civil case. Then, years later, new prosecutor comes around, says, that deal, and we're going to use some of that testimony and then use it to prosecute him in a criminal case, which basically violates his Fifth Amendment rights.
Yeah,
they violated his right to not incriminate himself, and he got let out on that technicality, which technically, as I say in the article, is correct. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the system that failed. It was people who corrupted the system. Mm-hmm. And this is what happens when you don't follow the letter of the law. People get out on technicalities. So I was very conflicted about this and ambivalent and had a lot of conflicting feelings. And I think a lot of people did. I wrote about it, and it seems like I wasn't alone in having those feelings of ambivalence, even women and men who are sexual assault survivors, because I think it is important that we maintain due process. We can't just throw this stuff all away. We have a system. It's imperfect. But what replaces that system? It is imperfect because it is run by men and created by men. And I think the system is actually pretty good. It's as good as perhaps we've ever seen. And we have to have compassion for the survivors and also give survivors like the benefit of the doubt. I think we have a long way to go in that. Not victim blaming and what they have to go through, even to often from the people who are supposed to be protecting them, just re-traumatizing them, asking them what they were wearing, if they were drinking. All of these questions are horrible. So we still have a ways to go in protecting our victims, but we still owe our accused due process. And so, yeah, it was tough though.
It was a great article. It's a great article.
I suggest just reading the article because it makes more sense than I do right now. The link to the article's in the description.